I have a question. Are you ready for the zombie apocalypse?
Any zombies out there?
When it comes to horror movie monsters out there, zombies have a lot of things going for them. They're all over the movies, they're in literature, they're video games, even Magic the Gathering. So today I thought I'd talk about some commanders that support the tribe as a whole. We have lots of lords for zombies, probably the most in any tribe in the game. Lots of planeswalkers, thanks Liliana, and just a lot of good all-around color support for them. So I thought I'd talk about some of my favorite zombie commanders and a little bit about the art that they have as well. So first up, we have Ghoul Collar Gisa. For 3 black black, you get a 3/4 human wizard that has black and tap, sacrifice another creature, create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens where X is the sacrifice creature's power. Gisa here is one of the reasons I got back into Magic after a long hiatus and jumped directly back into the Commander format in particular. I've always loved zombies, and this allowed me to pull all of my old zombies from the Odyssey and Onslaught blocks and just go nuts in my deck building. Since then, she's only gotten better with access to the bajillion zombies that Wizards has printed in the history of the game, and it really speaks to my love of token decks as well. Sacrifice engines in Magic are quite powerful, and this one is no exception, giving you an army of zombies off of whatever you fed into her ability. And if it was a non-token that you sacrificed, you have that creature in the graveyard for reanimation tricks later in the game. On top of that, her ability gets exponentially better due to all the Lord support for zombies. For example, as they grow up and you're getting more +1/+1 to all zombies, Giss's ability will actually give you more zombies, and then those tokens actually gain the Lord effect as well. So, for example, if you have a pair of zombie lords on the board that give +1/+1 to all zombies, that gives +2/+2 total. You're going to actually have your 2/2 zombies be 4/4 zombies. Well, if you sacrifice one of those and you get 4 more of them off of Giss's activated ability, those are all 4/4. So you went from a 4 power creature to 16 total power on the board all at once for a black mana and losing the initial creature. That is pretty damn powerful. As for the art on this card, props to the original art for Gissa as well. I don't like the one that came in Commander Collection Black. I just don't think it looks good. But the original by Carla Ortiz is great. I love the creepy insanity vibe that comes off of her way her eyes look, and her wielding the shovel to dig up whoever she's planning on bringing back from the dead. And the whole black wedding dress is just a great motif, and I really love this deck since it's centered on a Necromancer raising the dead. My next favorite commander for the zombie tribe is the Scarab God. For 3 blue black, you get a 5/5 God that says at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. And for 2, a blue and a black, you can exile a target creature from a graveyard and create a token that's a copy of it, except for it's a 4/4 black zombie. When the Scarab God dies, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. So holy hell, Wizards, why are some of the best commanders for this tribe not zombies? Oh well. I really don't care in this case because it really synergizes with all of our rotting little buddies going around on the board. This big bug gives us an upkeep trigger that will grind out additional damage every upkeep and gets us digging deeper into our deck for our best cards, and the ability only gets better as we keep growing the Army of the Dead. The activated ability in this case is just gravy on top of this card because you can use it as graveyard removal for your opponent and steal their stuff, or just pump up some of your little wimpy or 2/2 little zombies that went to the graveyard earlier. The last ability on the card is also quite pertinent because it actually dodges the commander tax by letting it go to the graveyard and bringing it back during the end step. So this can be important in a game, so don't forget the ability. I love the art for this card as well. If you look closely on the original art, you'll see all these little Eternals standing on the various levels in this pyramid where the Scarab God is standing, waving around his Kopish sword. And they're likely the ones that it created with its ability, and they're just waiting for him to command them. And I love that. Finally, we hit our first actual zombie as a commander, Varina Lich Queen. For 1 white, blue, black, you get a 4/4 zombie wizard that says whenever you attack with 1 or more zombies, draw that many cards, then discard that many cards, gain that much life. And it has an activated ability of pay 2 of any color, exile 2 cards from your graveyard to create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. This is one commander that I rarely ever see anybody playing, but it's also one of my favorites for zombies. Every zombie that attacks with her on the board, you draw a card, you filter out into your graveyard, and you gain that much life. If you build this deck well, you can take advantage of those cards going to the graveyard because you're going to see them again if you resurrect them out of the yard. Or you just rip them out of your yard with Verena's ability and just churn them into zombies, and then you just keep on swinging and drawing more cards as the game rolls along. One of my favorite plays with this particular commander is to just churn a bunch of zombies into the yard as you're discarding cards to her, sacrifice Verena to something else to let her go to the grave, and then just cast Living Death and bring everything back. Or if you don't have something to sacrifice her with, just let her live and use something like Command the Dreadhorde to accomplish your Necromancy, because you're gaining all this life off of her triggers anyways, so you're going to have a little bit of extra life to spare to cast into that. My only quibble with this card is the art. I hate the art of this card. I don't know why. It just does not evoke a Lich Queen to me. It's too futuristic looking. It almost makes me look like it's a cybernetic zombie that took off a mask for an eye scan or something like that. It's just, I don't know. I just don't like it. But her abilities are undeniably good, so I can just overlook the art and use the card for its abilities. Holy crap, we actually have another zombie as a commander, but this one does not directly affect zombies. This one is Mikaeus the Unhallowed. For 3 black, you get a 5/5 zombie cleric with Intimidate, which means as long as something shares a color with him, which is black, you can block it. If it doesn't share a color with it, you can't block it. And whenever a human deals damage to you, destroy it, and other non-human creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Undying. As I said before, this is not strictly a zombie lord, but it greatly benefits our little zombies. Giving them a lord in the command zone, and any of your non-token zombies have to be killed twice to get rid of them and make them stay down, at least for a little while. It also has a bonus hate for humans, and if a human deals damage to you, it'll get destroyed while he's around. So sometimes it may benefit you to just let a human through your defenses and let it go and die. This is one of those cards where I love the art. It's very evocative of the original art of Mikaeus the Lunarch, which was the living version of him when he was the highest ranking member of the Church of Avacyn. And he was killed by Geralf during the Siege of Thraben. And then Liliana actually raised him from the dead to learn of Gristlebrand's location in the Hell Vault. So this is just showing him breaking out of his crypt right after Liliana raised him and questioned him. And now he's just he's a powerful champion of the undead monsters that he had fought against during his life. And I just love that feel. Here we have one of the newest commanders for zombies, Wilhelt the Rot Cleaver. For 2 blue-black, you get a 3/3 zombie warrior that says whenever another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature with Decayed. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a zombie, and if you do, draw a card. Wilhelt was the front-facing card from one of the Midnight Hunt precons, and he's pretty strong. If you don't want to shell a bunch of money for the Scarab God, he is kind of expensive, or if you want the commander to actually be a zombie, I would say give Wilhelt a shot. Any non-decaying zombie dying will trigger the creation of a replacement decaying zombie, and then you can turn that decaying zombie into a card at the end of the turn if you want to keep churning them out, or just run them into combat and they'll die at the end of combat anyways. If you like juggling tokens and death triggers, Wilhelt can actually be built to take advantage of all those decaying zombies, and then the possibilities are just endless there. What's funny here is as I'm researching the backgrounds on some of these characters, I've actually learned some interesting things about Wilhelt in the lore. His axe in the art actually comes from his living days as a lumberjack on Innistrad, and he died in an accident while he was lumberjacking because he was distracted by being rejected by Goldcollar Gisa. He actually declared his love for her, and she told him to take a hike. So his unrequited love actually brought him back from the dead, and now he pursues her in death, raising all these zombies that he thinks is going to impress her and win her over. Knowing all this, I think the art is of him actually coming to Thraben and with his army to actually declare his love once again and give the zombies to Gisa as a gift. Because, you know, nothing says, I love you, more than presenting an army of undead to your true love. The last card that I want to talk about, and this is in a little bit different color scheme, and it also is not a zombie, unfortunately, is Bladewing Deathless Tyrant. For 5 black-red, you get a 6/6 dragon skeleton with flying and haste that says whenever it deals combat damage to a player or a planeswalker, for each creature card in your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie knight creature token with menace. This is a brand new commander that was just printed in one of the Dominaria United precons, and once again, it's not a zombie, as I said before, but it creates zombie tokens. This is kind of crazy for what it is. Red and black specialize in self-discard and sacrificing creatures for gain, so this is in the perfect colors for this kind of thing. This version can actually capitalize on you filling your graveyard with creatures on your impulse draws, your sacrifice effects, or just losing things running them into combat. And then by the time you actually can slam him down and swing at somebody, you should have a pretty well-stocked graveyard and be able to get several tokens off the damage chart every time it slams in. My only word of caution here is that depending on the metagame of your local group and how much graveyard hate they run, will dictate how powerful this commander will be. If they aren't running excessive grave hate, then I would say go to town and play Blade Wing Conference and have fun. If your playgroup is a little more hateful like mine, where they're just like, fuck your graveyard, well, he may not be very good for you. This art is actually quite spectacular if you look at it closely. First, it's a callback to the redone art for Bladewing the Risen from the iconic Master set where they added flames inside of his chest. And on top of that, inside of his chest in the new art, you can actually see little zombies clinging to Bladewing's ribs, giving you the feeling that as the Bladewing dragon just slams into your opponents, the impact shakes the zombies loose, dropping them to the ground, and then they rise up to add to your army of attackers. So what do you guys think? Did I leave out a commander that you would prefer to use with the zombie tribe? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. Have fun being your own little magic necromancer, raise the dead, kick some butt, and have a great day.